Yes, because you guys are retards. Yeah, I came here to insult you because you're retarded. Yeah, so we came here to insult you because you're retarded. Hey, America doesn't.
On principle, you only care about clicks. Yeah. That's all you're here for.
Oh, really? Because I'm here to expose you. I'm here to expose you. We're going to get a lot of clicks exposing your ass. Hey, when you get deported, bye-bye. Go back to Mexico. Bye-bye. 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 You're here illegally. You're not even here legally. You're not even here legally.
They stole my hat.
Get off me, man. Get off. Get off. I'm just showing you my side. This is what these people act like. These people are vaccine injured. They're sick in the head. I love America. You guys hate America. You guys hate America. Why do you hate the Constitution? Literally, I love the Constitution. Why do you hate America? I believe in God. Hey, can you hear me? Hey. Remember, look who's acting crazy and look who's not. I just figured it out. Look who's acting crazy and look who's not. I'm holding a camera walking around and just look who's acting like who's throwing stuff, who's the ones being assaulted. Just remember that. Write that down, Dallas Morning News. Yeah, and they stole his hat. I mean,
No.
get off me! Get off me! Get the fuck off me!
I'm so fly, I'm aligned with the planes. My grind so refined, I got no time for no games. Ask yourself why would I make time for you lames? At all costs, cause I'm a boss. But break them all, yeah, gotta break them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Primetime with Alex Stein. I'm your host, Alejandro Stein, and what you just witnessed was Primetime Alex Stein getting assaulted by a little booty Latina. That's right. She was a Latina that did not pass the test, and she is the first on the deportation list. Now, the footage you just saw was from this past weekend, this past Saturday. It was a protest for all protests is what they were calling it. It was the No Kings Round 2 protest, the anti-Donald Trump protest. And I really did not understand what we were even protesting because we don't have kings in this country. So I don't understand the concept of no kings. And really and truly, they were the ones that were acting like kings the whole time. You know, they were the ones that were being rude and making me leave their country, aka the public park where they're all doing fentanyl. So with all that being said, I want to invite our guest on. He is a famous Islamophobe. Is that a good way to describe him? Is that what Medhi described him as, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's what Medhi said.
And it's Ryan Girdusky. Ryan, how are you doing, my friend?
Do you remember when we met?
No, I was probably on morphine at that time. So
we were at the Islanders game with Ann Coulter.
Oh,
together.
yes, Ryan. I remember
Yes.
that. That was actually a great night, dude.
I think we were both very drunk.
No, actually, that night I wasn't even drunk, honestly. That night I was dead sober. Maybe I had a marijuana gummy, but I was actually not drinking that night, but I had a blast. I was... maybe you were drunk. I know people were partying.
I was drunk. I called you the wrong name the entire time, and different names throughout the night.
Well, you know what? I have a familiar face. It happens all the time. They call me Charlie at the airport. People, I'm dead serious. Somebody they said they saw a ghost. Like, are you Charlie Kirk? I was like, no, I'm Alex Stein. Like, who's that? I was like, don't worry about it. But, you know, I do have a familiar face. I'm not even kidding, so I don't take any offense to that. Hey, I appreciate you using my name or, thinking you're using my name to try to be polite. Yeah. So I appreciate the politeness. Now, real quick, before we even talk about your Islamophobia and your beeper joke that got you banned from CNN, which sadly I don't like, Ryan, because now Scott Jennings is getting all the conservative support on there. We kind of needed you on there a little more, but I don't want to get into that yet. I want to get into what just happened this weekend. You saw the footage. What do you think about this No Kings protest? Because I'm a First Amendment guy, freedom of speech, right to protest. I'm all about it. I agree with the right to protest, but some of the messaging was a little threatening, I guess is how I would describe it. So what do you think about this past weekend?
Well, I don't know how you found the only young people at the protest. That's pretty amazing, first of all, because everyone else was geriatric besides the people surrounding you. I think that the protest was noticeably old, and it was noticeably heavily female old. Yeah. And I think that those are the last people really watching cable news. and they are creating almost like it's like a cable news induced psychosis that's generational, and they have this notion that democracy is ending, but they're peacefully protesting it. They're participating in elections coming up. They just had one before. Every sign is that democracy is there, it's vibrant. So I have it's so much reminds you of when teenage girls all of a sudden say they're trans. Yeah. Like, it is induced by what they're absorbing from the culture, and they have sat there and marinated it. And it's more likely when you have friends who are also believing it that you believe in it. There's no getting around it. It is a generational thing. Remember, the old people that we grew up with, right? The ones who voted for George W. Bush and flew the flag, they've all mostly passed away now. And it's like, I always say, it's like All in the Family, the TV show All in the Family. The Archie Bunkers of the world have passed away, and Meathead is an 80-year-old. Yeah. And so that is our senior citizens nowadays. They are the draft dodgers. They are the people who complain about Vietnam their entire lives. That's just this group that we have. And, we're stuck with them as long as they're on this earth.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Grateful Dead generation, or what, it's kind of like the hippie boomers that all got to buy their house for $100,000 and now they're worth like $2 million. So they, I don't want to blame it on the boomers, but I feel like they have kind of taken all of our generational wealth from the middle class, especially the young people in this day and age. But when you say there's old people, when I was looking at footage from like suburbs like Carrollton and suburbs of Chicago and suburbs of these big cities, yes, it was definitely geriatrics. It was, elderly people. But I will say at the Dallas one, there was only about 3 black people. There's no black people, but it was a lot of young white people. It was like mainly white people. But I did see a lot of, at the Dallas one, there was definitely a lot of old people, but I actually saw a pretty good, amount of younger people. But like I said, it was mainly women, kind of youngish, whitish women, really not that many Hispanics, not really hardly any African Americans. So it is kind of weird who's getting involved, and I think it's more of a social situation. But should we be afraid? Like, represent Turning Point. What happened to Charlie was the worst thing in the world. But I still feel like a college campus is safe. So, Ryan, like, what do you think overall? Like, is the world? I guess my point is, I think a college campus is still safer than outside, like the protest I was just at No King. So, what do you think? Like, is society really that dangerous? Are you actually worried? We keep on saying we're victims. Or is that a real thing, or is that a right-wing conspiracy?
I mean, I will say this: after the CNN hit that I did, that I got banned for CNN from, I had over 1,000 threatening messages sent to me, like within a 12-hour period. You definitely feel vulnerable. I think Republicans are under assault, and there are crazy people who don't have the moral compass and the morality to sit there and see that there's like a soul behind somebody, and they're created an image of God. So without that kind of there, and they believe that they're fighting Nazis, I think that there is something threatening in the culture right now, for sure. Is it the most dangerous place you could be? No, you could always be in a black majority Democrat-run city somewhere, mostly in the South, and you could be in a much more dangerous place. But so it's not the most dangerous place you could be, but there's a level of danger that wasn't there 15 years ago.
Yeah, I do have to admit that it does seem like the temperature is a little warmer. I know that's kind of a cliche, but now let's go talk about your banning from CNN. And you said a very funny joke. Should we play the clip? Let's play the clip first. Because it was a viral clip, Ryan. This is great. You shut him down. This is hilarious. Let's play the clip.
No, by me. I never called you an anti-Semite. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying
I'm a supporter of the Palestinians, so I'm used to it.
Yeah, I hope your beeper doesn't go off. The thing is that
you should not.
See, that's funny.
No, I did not say that.
Hold on. Your guest just said on live TV.
I have to do something else in my life that this is not the only thing I'm ever remembered for is this moment. It is, I cannot forever be the beeper guy my entire life.
No,
but listen, I thought it was funny. It was passing in the moment. I blame it all on Matt Foldy. I really do. You know who Matt Foldy is?
Why is that? Does he go on CNN?
He's a Republican guy. He's on Newsmax. I saw him right before I did the hit. And the way it works on cable news is this: is they email you a couple hours beforehand with all the topics they're going to cover. Mm-hmm. So it's an hour-long show. It's a lot of topics. So I work. I have a real job. I don't sit there and I'm not Ryan Girdusky for a living. So they send me all these topics. I spend the entire day memorizing topics and issues on things I don't really know that much about. And like maybe 45 minutes beforehand, they go, "Yeah, we're going to cut all those topics." Okay. So I'm furious. I'm so mad. I go to a bar. I see Matt Foldy. I have a drink. And I said, this is who I'm on with. And he said, oh, tell him I hope his beeper goes off. And it was the last thing in my mind. I didn't even know who Medhi Hasan was. I mean, he is a gross person now that I know who he is. But I
like
was just,
literally,
like,
he smells bad. No, he like literally has BO. But go ahead. Sorry.
No, and I didn't really know who he was, and I really didn't I didn't have a personal gripe with him. So when he says, "Oh yeah, you call me an anti-Semite," I genuinely did not know who he was a day beforehand. So and now I would call him an anti-Semite, but I definitely didn't do it then. And so I was just really pissed off. And Ashley Allison, who was the heavyset black woman sitting next to me, we were in the makeup room, and she would not acknowledge that I was there. So I was sitting in the room. I'm saying, so how was your day? So, oh, you have plants. Like something. So she
See, this is before the beeper joke. You're talking about before the beeper joke.
Way before. This is in the makeup chair like 30 minutes before. And she's ignoring me. And then so we get on the set. So I'm pissed that the topics changed. I'm pissed that Ashley's being, she was always.
Wait, time out. And this is the show that Scott Jennings is always on too. That's always going viral.
So, and so I'm pissed that she's being a complete, I'm pissed that the topics have changed. I have a drink in me. And then we get on, and it's a 9-minute montage of the friggin' MSG Puerto Rico joke, as if we're watching live footage of Hurricane Katrina washing up New Orleans. And I'm like, are we freaking serious? And the whole time Ashley Allison, who's sitting next to me, is making comments about white men. And I am just had it. So what my plan was at the time was we were going to go, Brian Stelter was supposed to be the guest for the last segment. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to say Brian Stelter's fake news. I'm going to tell him, you lie all the time. You shouldn't have a job in news. I'm just going to go off on Brian Stelter.
This is a huge opportunity. You finally get to be on a show with Brian Stelter on a panel. I mean, this is huge. I would be so excited for this opportunity as well.
This is going to be my last appearance on CNN. Elections in 3 days. Who gives a crap? Let's just freaking go. I'm going to tell Bill Nye was the other guest who was supposed to come on. I'm going to say he's not a real scientist. And I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go on and see and the first segment, I made the beeper joke, which I thought was genuinely funny. And I was and I apologized afterwards. I was like, all right, he's the dude. He's going to move on. We'll all get along. And then he just made a show of it. And Ashley Allison, who's always been horrible to me, she was texting the producers immediately. You didn't see this on the episode, but she's texting the producers saying, it's me or him. It's me or him. And I'm like, and she works there, so it's obviously going to be her.
Yeah, but she puts her line in the sand. Oh, this guy's got to go, or I'm leaving. Oh,
and I was like, all right, whatever. So Medhi storms off, and they didn't kick me off set immediately. Medhi storms up, and
he rage quit. I didn't realize that. So in the break, during the break, he walks off, or did he walk off?
We go to commercial. Yeah. He throws his mic down. He walks off. Abby goes, did he just walk off? And she said, and everyone was like, yeah, he walked off. And, Ashley Allison's texting feverishly. And Abby didn't kick me off at first. Nothing happened at first. And then Abby's like, let me try to bring him back. Let me talk to him. And the producer's like, he's not coming back. And Ashley then starts screaming. She's like, it's either him or me. He has to go. You're talking about me. So I said, Abby, do you want me to go? And she said, yeah, I think it's best if you go. I said, okay, fine. And I walked off. I went to the bathroom, and then I went into the elevator and went home. And there was nothing that was literally it. And I didn't think it was anything truly until I got into the car that CNN sends you. And Megan McCain calls me, and she's like, are you okay? And I go, yeah, I think so. Why? And she's like, because Megan's a good friend of mine. And I was like, she's like, this is a big deal. And then Yashar Ali texted me and was like, are you okay? And I was like, oh, this is actually a lot bigger. And then that one liberal viral video person, it got 75 million views, and it was in the New York Times. And I was like, this is not that serious. But it was so heightened for the election. And I just basically just muted my phone for 48 hours, and I did some conservative interviews, and I called it a day. I don't know. It was not that serious.
No, dude, that's not serious at all. But that story's so interesting because that is a funny joke, the beeper joke. And I can see how people could say, oh, that's a dark joke. It is a little bit of a dark joke, but I like dark humor, and Medhi likes dark humor, and he's made jokes that are more inflammatory than that. So he wants to act like
he called gay people pedophiles.
That's what I'm saying.
He said non-Muslims are animals.
He's made more inflammatory statements in a beeper joke.
And he wasn't joking. Yeah. So, that's the thing. He wasn't joking anything he said. I was literally telling a joke. I don't wish any harm on him. I don't wish any whatever. I think he should probably be denaturalized.
Because wait, real quick, that is an important point because my buddy Tim Pool called him Indian, and really, actually, I found out this weekend that he wasn't born in India. He was actually born in the UK and is a British citizen because of that. But then in like 2020 or 2022, he became a U.S. citizen. Like, how the hell is he becoming a U.S.? Why can't he just be on a visa or something? How the hell does he become a citizen? That doesn't even make sense.
Because we give 1.1 million people green cards per year. We entice people to become citizens. And because we said about boomers before, boomers believe, you know, they've been told over and over again, illegal immigration bad, legal immigration good, the more the merrier. This is part of our great, you know, multicultural melting pot. They're all going to be just as, you know, American as the apple pie. And they've been sold lies, and they've been sold lies over and over again. I don't blame them because they come from a high trusting generation as opposed to, I'm a millennial. I think you're a millennial too. Yeah. We come from a much lower trusting generation. Social capital for Gen Xers and Gen Alpha is bottom of the barrel low. And part of it is diversity. You can sit there and read multiple studies in different countries, in different continents even, in parts of the world where forced multiculturalism, especially among recent immigrants, drops social capital and social trust faster than any other thing you could possibly have. So this is what, I mean, this is not the only thing. There's a lot of components, but that's a major component.
Well, and I just look at Canada. I mean, Canada is, it's not doing very well now. I think, you know, their population's like almost half Indian. I mean, that's ridiculous in a country that was not very multicultural. I mean, I guess they had some French people there, but you know what I mean. And now it's totally changed the way that they.
Yeah, the French don't count as really multicultural. Yeah, it was bicultural. It was like a 90% white country. There was some indigenous or Native American populations, American Indian, whatever you want to call them. That was all there was in Canada. Canada gave us like Michael J. Fox. Like that's what Canada looked like growing up. Yeah, and the Republic or the conservatives there were under the opinion that this will bring in mass prosperity. The liberals will say this will be great for diversity. It's happened all over the Anglo world. It's happened in America. And I think that the refusal to acknowledge it and to change it has led to the biggest backlash, certainly in Western civilization. And it is the thing that neoliberals, more than anything else, is the thing that neoliberals have refused to sit there and move on. Like, it's the thing that they will lay on the railroad track as the train is coming. And that's kind of shocking. Like, that's what you're willing to give it all up for, is just so that way, you know, we import the family of Zohran Mamdani. Like, that's literally all you care about. But for the neolibs, it's to prove the point.
Well, speaking of Mamdani, I mean, I think it's basically inevitable that he's going to win. And now I saw there is like, I saw a sign, I don't know if they were trolling, but, you know, it was like Jews from Mamdani. And I was like, that's interesting. That's weird. So are those the neoliberals you're talking about, like the people that are, you know, Jewish, but will still vote for a guy that is, you know, sympathetic to Hamas?
They are, listen, Jews, not every Jew. I grew up in New York. I know a lot of Jews growing up. I know some very religious Zionist Jews. I knew some very liberal Jews. Jews as a whole, as American Jews go, very high levels of college education. Among very secular smart. Jews, deep levels of agnosticism. They are just your standard bearer liberal. Like, there's no attachment towards anything that a Republican would vote for. And so, yeah, there's tons of Jews for Mamdani. It's not every Jew. It's probably maybe a third in the city, but it's quite a bit. And they just, and I have a relative who married one of these people. They're like, you know, she's got blonde hair and blue eyes, and she calls herself a person of color because she's Jewish, but she's never been inside of a temple. But that is like, that is just like, they're part of like I'm part of the general, you know, suffering of a people, and they want to belong to that. So they side with like Mamdani. It's ridiculous. And I mean, good luck to you. There was a guy named Ryan. I remember his first name because it's my first name. And he lived like a few miles from me, like not far. And he was like a social justice activist. And he was like just your standard bearer, like shit lib across the board. Okay. And he saw like a homeless man having a schizophrenic breakdown like at 4 o'clock in the morning and decided to intervene. And this homeless man murdered him on camera.
And this is a guy you knew because his first name, that's how you kind of remembered him.
Yeah, that's how I remember his name. So I didn't know him, but I saw that and I was just like, he was brainwashed to such a degree that in the end, he still viewed that man as the victim and him as the perpetrator for the specific reason of being a white male. And those are people, regardless of their religion or their national origin, you cannot help them. They are in a world and they are deeply, deeply brainwashed in it.
Is that because of like a subversive critical race theory? Now it's gone where it's, wide open. It's very overt, not covert. But like you're kind of talking about how they did teach us in school, we're a melting pot. And, they kind of almost critical race theoried us as a young age and created white guilt without us even really knowing. I guess they kind of did it, like I said, more subversively. Now it's more overt. But is that why do you think a guy would see a schizophrenic homeless black man and be like, oh, I can go save him? Like, do they have this like Captain Save-A-Ho mentality?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that growing up, like in the 90s, like we were in a much better place socially on race issues than we are now. And partially because we saw Black people on television every day, and they were just normal everyday people. Like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was a normal person that you would want to be a friend with.
Yeah.
Even the Family Man, like those kinds of shows were staples, and we didn't have to have a lecture about them.
Well, I had to stop you real quick though, Ryan. That is a brilliant point, because if you look at those shows, they were hit shows, and they always had a positive spin. Like Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I watch every episode. Sorry, I had to just cut you off, because that is true. That's what I was raised by, Will Smith. So, even though Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are this weird thing, I still always think Will Smith is cool because of that show. And you are right, like the black people that, were the stars were, I guess, more sanitized, a little more, family friendly. And now it's like Travis Scott doing like satanic rituals and having kids, trampled, and he's banging
Yeah, but it's also, there wasn't a lecture of like, oh, you have to like him because we were racist 50 years. You just did because we had mutual interest, and it was. I think that for like the boomers and the silent generation before them, there was a lot of racism in the country. So they felt to overextend, and they felt to go overboard. And I think by the 90s, they had really calmed it down. And then, under Obama's presidency, it just took a hard left to an unhealthy place, and there was no stopping it. They're talking about the mayoral election. There's a lot in New York, and there's a lot of emphasis for Curtis Lewa, the Republican nominee, who's way low in the polls, to drop out. But and he keeps saying, I don't have to say the Democratic Party. They never chose to say themselves. And to that, he has a point.
He has a very strong point with that, though. He does.
Yeah, they do.
He
does.
Yeah, but,
yeah. He has a strong point. So I just think that, they created this monster, and they don't know even how to tackle. They don't know how to deal with it.
I think if Lewa dropped out today, though, I don't even think Cuomo would still win. You know probably better than me. If he would, because I actually like Curtis personally. I think Curtis loves the city of New York. But I'll be honest, he likes the publicity of running for mayor. He's done this gimmick, a few times. So, let's call a spade a spade. I'm just calling balls and strikes. But even if he dropped out, that really put Cuomo over, because let's not forget, Cuomo was a terrible governor, killing people. And all of a sudden now we love Cuomo. He's a, groper in chief. He's blaming his perversion on being Italian, which I wish I could do that. So he's not a saint. He's better than Mamdani, but I still hate that lesser of two evils.
Yeah, I'm Italian. I take offense to that. Plus he's got nipple piercings, which I can never get over.
Yeah.
The thing about Cuomo is that he's never given Republicans a reason to vote for him. Saying I'm not Mamdani 7 million times is not a reason to vote for you. And there was Republicans in New York they're used to losing so often. If you gave them crumbs, they would go to it. And he hasn't even bothered doing that. And it kind of struck me as maybe he was never a great campaigner. Maybe his father's legacy was enough to get him to become governor. And maybe he was just never that strong. I have to assume that he was never that good, because Mamdani is very smooth. He's very quick. But it isn't Curtis's job. And the thing is that when Cuomo was first elected, he was elected as a moderate. He did a lot of decent things when he was first elected. He did a lot of things on real estate and zoning laws and taxes. And then as he got challenged by the left, by Cynthia Nixon, by other people, he moved far to the left. He created that condition, and he endorsed people who were horrible, who now are all stabbing him in the back. So you made it. You made the cake that now you're sitting there and is giving you food poisoning. You got to eat it up, buddy. You got to deal with it. It's not our fault.
Yeah, and I kind of see the about face that Eric Adams is making. He kind of cultivated this, den of thieves, and then they get surprised when these thieves stab him in the back. So you kind of
Eric Adams has the confidence of a drag queen. Like Eric Adams has.
Wait, time out, because drag queens have a lot of confidence. So you're telling me that he is
Right.
very confident. Yeah, and Bangladesh is
Eric
New
Adams
York,
is
or New York is the
delusionally
Bangladesh
confident.
of America. What does he always say? He always says this country is the New York City or New York City is the Bangladesh of America. He's like,
and he also said like recently, like, I'm like the greatest mayor in New York history.
Mm-hmm.
He is delusionally confident, and like if you could just rub a piece of that delusional confidence off on you, like you can succeed at something. Because Eric Adams is going to leave that office thinking, I did a great job. I was a one-term mayor, baby. Killed it. Might run for president afterwards.
Well, and that's half the battle, though, is being confident even when you suck. And he's got that down. And he was a law enforcement officer for the NYPD. And let me just tell you something. I know you know New York even better than me. The NYPD is probably the most corrupt police department in the entire world. And, I know you might not believe that.
I don't believe that.
Well, when it comes to like Donald Trump and just some of the stuff they've done, the NYPD, I know we love them, the back the boys in blue, and I love the FDNY, but I'm just telling you, they do some funny business in New York. And you know what? I really don't like it. I'm a 9/11 truther. And I'm really mad. Forget about it. Well, but real quick, Ryan, forget all
I didn't know that, Alex.
Real
okay,
quick,
go ahead.
We don't have to get into that. But forget any conspiracy surrounding 9/11 because I don't want to get you canceled. I'm saying after the event, they said that the EPA, the air was totally fine. You remember that? And Jon Stewart, who's a leftist, he's railed against this. They said, even this EPA said the cops, it's fine. All the chiefs, they said, go here, go clean up and obviously they're going to have to send him to clean up rubble. I know there's rubble. People have to clean it up. But they said that air is fine, and then all the cops got cancer. So if they really cared about their police officers, I think they would have done more to protect them. And I know they're in a tough situation, but I look at that. So that's one of my biggest complaints when it comes to the NYPD is I don't really like how a lot of those people had to fight really hard to even get their pensions because they had to retire early because they got cancer. So I think that they've done some shady stuff in regards to 9/11. So that's where I think they're corrupt. I'm not saying the cops are necessarily bad.
Well, okay, so like the New York Police Department was very corrupt back like in the 70s. Like there was one police department, they made a documentary where they were arresting drug dealers and then reselling the drugs themselves. Like that kind of thing happened in the 70s for sure. But a lot of that cleaned up. Definitely by the time Kelly became police commissioner, a lot of it cleaned up. My dad was a cop for
that's why you're gonna love the cops. Well, of course, Ryan. I mean, I'm not trying to shit on the cops. NYPD is great, but you know better than me. So please go ahead. I want to give you the floor, but that makes a lot more sense. Obviously, you have a.
Well, my dad and his two brothers were cops. They were all part of the 9/11 cleanup.
Did they get sick? Did they get sick?
They got like a cough, but they're fine. Like they're still there, but like they're not. None of them died, but they all have like a kind of a 9/11 thing, a cough going on. And
did they get any money? Did they? I mean, you don't have to say how much, but like, did they at least get something? Because you know that they did not give those guys enough money for getting cancer.
None of my relatives got cancer. So getting
a cough, because they all have that black cough you're talking about. They all have like kind of something. They all have some sort of respiratory illness.
Yeah, there's something going on, but they're not. They have not been diagnosed with anything to my knowledge. And if there's a boatload of money, I didn't inherit any of it, so I don't know. But I know what I know, and I will say, and my mom worked in the World Trade Center, 97th floor of Tower 1. So it was very much connected to my whole life then. I was a freshman year, high school, second period. So I remember it perfectly, crystal clear. I talked about I have a podcast called Numbers Game on iHeartRadio. So you can listen to the whole episode about 9/11. And I interviewed my mom who worked in the World Trade Center. So
she's in downtown. So she was in downtown when it happened, if she's in Wall Street, right? Obviously.
My mom was in the subway underneath the tower where the first time it was hit, and she went up the subway platform when the second one hit. And so
like 10 a.m. she's underneath the plane. That is insane. That is
there was a subway stop underneath it. Yeah. So listen, I mean, there was a lot of miscommunication. There was a lot of bad information. Remember, it was 2001. It's a different time than it is now. And they started doing, because they weren't doing cleanup the next day. They were trying to find survivors.
Bodies,
They were trying to people who rebel. They sent people there in unhealthy conditions because they thought they were going to try to find people who made it out alive or who were buried. And they did find some buried people. So that was what they were there for. Were mistakes made 100%, but I wouldn't be like, and I guarantee you it wasn't like, there were so many things down electrically that day that the word was probably coming from like an EPA in Washington or some other place. It wasn't coming from the head with NYPD. They were probably saying, just go find a survivor, go find a firefighter, find somebody who's been buried, look for anyone who's left. I got to tell you, the next day or the 2 days afterwards, when I went back to high school, there was a bus stop on the corner of my house, and it was covered from top to bottom with pictures of people. And it just said, have you seen this person? Because there was an express bus that went right into the city. And that was what everyone was. They were all just praying, is there somebody left alive? And that's why they sent them. It wasn't obviously the best situation, but in a crisis when there was no internet, there was no cell phones.
But Ryan, I'm not talking about like the next day. I'm talking about, for months the air was not good to go, and like they needed at least oxygen.
But they were already down there by that point.
I know. Listen, they were in a tough situation, and that is in downtown Manhattan, the most expensive real estate in the world. Like, they need to get that cooking again. And I don't want to get too deep into conspiracies. I just feel like that the government had prior knowledge, and they let it happen. So,
okay, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah. Well, the Condoleezza Rice and George, that Condoleezza Rice and George Bush were both briefed by the FBI that there was a man named Osama bin Laden that had a plan to fly planes into towers in America.
Into buildings, I believe it was. I don't think it was the Twin Towers, but I think, yes, I do know that.
So he was briefed. He was briefed, so they were warned.
Right, and I mean, what we were talking about before, like, did you ever hear this testimony of the TSA? I guess it was TSA back, or the ticket taker, whatever it was, or the TSA guy on 9/11 who saw one of the hijackers. Did you ever hear that story?
I mean, I've heard a lot of stories, but
he said he goes, if this man isn't a terrorist, I don't know who is.
Who, Muhammad Atta?
But he felt so
You're talking
conditioned.
about he's one of the guys that took Muhammad Atta's ticket?
Yeah,
because they were dressed pretty normal. They were dressed in like business casual clothes.
Well, whatever the case was, he took one of their tickets, and he said if this wasn't a terrorist, he said, but he felt so guilty profiling an Arab person that he didn't stop him. But he said afterwards, he said the whole time, he was like, that guy looks like a terrorist, but he didn't do anything about it because out of guilt. Back to making a full circle.
Because of that guy's guilt, he could have stopped 9/11. What? You know what? That guy's an asshole. Who is that guy? No, I want to look that guy up. He's like, oh, I feel so guilty. I could have stopped 9/11. Like, give me a break. Those planes were probably controlled by a drone. But who knows? Okay, but I don't want to get into it.
Oh my
Ryan,
God.
before you get out of here, tell people. I know you got the iHeartRadio podcast. Everybody loves that. What else you got going on? Because, like I said, I'm saying I know you got a bunch, but the Scott Jennings thing, now he gets all the publicity. You actually had the inside being the conservative voice there, because that's like, you're like a leprechaun, you're like
I only
a unicorn.
did 6 episodes on CNN, and every time I went on, I talked about the Ferguson effect. Every time I went on, I was like, this is the only time I'm going to go on. I talked about the Ferguson effect. I talked about how black crime rates were rising during BLM. I always pushed the button, and I knew I would cross the line eventually. Because Scott's great, though. The people I knew at CNN really, several people even on air, several anchors, like famous anchors on CNN, have reached out to me and said they treated you unfairly, that you shouldn't have been fired.
I don't think you should have been fired for that.
No, I never worked for them. I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? On the ban list or what, and then not ban, but you know what I mean? We're not going to book you anymore list. And
listen, it's all fine. It's CNN. You know what the worst thing was? When I talk about Ferguson, I talk about crime rates, whatever. Greg Gutfeld would cover it the next day. I would get more messages from when Greg would cover my segments than I would get from actually the segment. So that really showed you how many people were watching Abby's show at the time. But I have the podcast is called A Numbers Game with Ryan Girdusky. It's on iHeart and Spotify and everywhere. I have a PAC called the 1776 Project. We do school board elections across the country. I consult candidates. I have a couple of candidates running right now. And I have a bunch of other businesses that I do. So being Ryan Girdusky is not the only job I have.
No, you are busy. And then I just saw in Centerville, Texas, where actually my dad has a bail bond office in Centerville, and it's called Centerville because it's basically directly in between Dallas and Houston. And they're having a big school board meeting this Thursday. I can't go because I'll be in Detroit.
You went to all those school board meetings.
Yeah, I went to a bunch. No, but in Centerville, Texas, what's going on right now is an administrator covered up a relationship with a teacher and student in this small town, allegedly covered it up. She got charged by a grand jury, indicted, and she's going to jail. She got arrested. Now she has a court case. And they're fighting at the school board to see if the school is responsible, the teachers union or the school district, to pay for legal fees. And right now they're saying they are going to pay for their legal fees, and everybody in the town's really pissed off because, it's probably going to be potentially millions of dollars.
Can I tell you, so we worked really hard to try to get some teachers fired who posted insane things after Charlie was murdered. Mm-hmm. And not that I was Charlie's best friend. I knew him, but I wasn't that close. But obviously, we're conservatives in a social space. We all feel this to a degree.
And Charlie was like our leader. Even if you weren't close to him, he really was a leader of the movement, So right. Whether you knew him or not, he was he was
one of the few people that after they die, you realize how much better they were. Most people were like, he wasn't that great. But Charlie actually afterwards, you're like, wow, he was better than I remember when he was alive. But anyway, a lot of teachers that we tried to get fired, the unions were threatening to all the school districts saying, we're going to sue you into bankruptcy if you fire these teachers who wrote these horrible things about Charlie Kirk. That was that fat teacher at the parade the other day. Right now we're trying to figure out a way to manage to expose them in some capacity. But these teachers, the school boards, the good school boards with like conservatives in charge of them, they're trying to figure out how to get out of these teachers, and they can't. Have you followed, by the way, one last thing before we go? Did you follow the Tony Gonzalez staffer story?
Oh, yeah, I'm very familiar with it. And my buddy Tony Ortiz helped break it. I'm very good friends.
Tony's great.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Brandon Herrera. And yeah, I mean, I can only say so much, but allegedly the real smoking gun in all this is that Tony was having an affair with a woman, and that Tony allegedly paid a big check to this woman before she lit herself on fire, and that the husband has all the information and can expose all this. But allegedly, and I'm saying this all allegedly to protect myself, is that he's worried about the legal ramifications because he signed like I guess NDA about the situation. But now that his wife is dead, I don't know why he wouldn't come out and say this, but I think he's afraid because he looks like a cuckold for his wife.
And allegedly she may or may not have been pregnant.
Yes, that's another thing. I mean, there's all these layers to this, and the fact that the mainstream media has not even really covered it, and Tony Gonzalez,
which is crazy.
And they're not even giving the damn police 911 call or the body cam footage, because there was actually, for hearing all this from Tony, allegedly, it's all allegedly, this is in Minecraft, we don't know, we're just, speculating, is that she had an incident with a cop like prior to this, like a week or 2 weeks before. They had a serious incident with her and her husband, and it all came out that she was banging him, and the husband had found out, and they almost killed each other. I don't know, just saying there was another very serious domestic dispute just a few weeks before this, and somehow that got wiped away, nothing done, nobody got arrested, and then the wife kills herself shortly thereafter under weird circumstances. This should be a huge story. And it's not, and he's a conservative, so CNN, quit firing Ryan Girdusky for making a fucking funny joke, and go expose Tony Gonzalez for banging and getting a girl pregnant and making her kill herself.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez and Corey Mills, the two Republicans who I don't know why they're not being blown up. So
it doesn't make sense. All right, well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us. Oh, last thing. The ceasefire, is it over? Do you think it's actually, we're going to get some, I know that's a hard question to end with because I know you probably have a long diatribe, but is this good? We got the hostages back? I feel like this is good. I'm happy about this, but is it time to celebrate, or should we still kind of be, nervous?
I know like nothing about Israel.
Nothing.
So I can't even answer that question. I don't know. I really don't know anything. I don't know. I mean, it sounds good. Like I've read what you've read and it sounds great. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's good. But that's all I got. I don't know anything about Israel. I don't know.
Playing it safe. I love it. You're a gambler, and I love it. And you're gambling. You're playing it safe. You're betting it on black.
No, I don't know the answer. If I knew it, I'd give it to you, Alex.
Ryan, thank you for joining us. We love Israel. It is the greatest country on earth. They're our best ally, biggest ally, and Hamas is not a good. They're not good. Hamas is bad.
They're not good. Hamas is not good. That
Hamas
is a good way to end
no bueno. All right. Talk to you later, Ryan. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, guys, some of y'all live in a house. Some of you are homeless watching this on a phone at Starbucks, charging into the wall right now. And, hey, there's no shame in your game. You're going to catch a lucky break here or there. But the ones that are making it and got a little bit of money, let me tell you something. This ad is for you, because if you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this right now. In today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles, and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on just one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee with your county, and boom, just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property, and you won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice in the mail. So when's the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, you need to do something about it right this minute. And that's why I've partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code ALEX at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HometitleLock.com and use promo code ALEX. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code ALEX. Woo! All right, guys. Well, the pimp on a blimp is so sad. We only have how many episodes left after this, Jimmy?
4.
You're fired, Chris. You can't joke with me. My life is collapsing, I'm losing my job. Technically not fired, just not renewed. So, yeah, we can get emotional on the show tonight. I'm going on the Whatever podcast this Sunday, and I've been trying to think about, like, what am I going to launch on this podcast, this, world-renowned podcast. And I've been brainstorming ideas, and I don't want to have to do this. But after our last show on October 30th, I will be announcing my OnlyFans. I'm going to be completely naked on there. For $5, you're going to see me spread it and forget it. And yeah, this might, make me lose some opportunities in the future, but this is my only option. I've run out of opportunities at the moment. And there's going to be an audience of bisexual women and bisexual men that will be watching the Whatever podcast, and a lot of gooners in the chat. And I'm just looking at the opportunity this Sunday to launch my, it's going to be a soft launch, and it's going to be cheap. It's going to be really cheap. It's going to be like 99 cents. So I'm going to be the Walmart of OnlyFans. So, porn's basically free. So I'm competing with free pornography, and I don't want to overcharge because, it's not that large. So I'm not going to overcharge if it's not that. If I was large, then I would charge. But just because I'm average, you're going to get a value price. I'm selling you a Toyota, not a Ferrari. You're going to pay Toyota prices. And that's the kind of dealer that I am. I'm a fair guy. And I'm opportunistic, and this is the only opportunity I have left. So thank you guys for riding with me on this journey. Jimmy, Brandon, are you guys worried about, you guys are a little worried too about your job stability. Have you guys kind of brainstormed any future plans or ideas?
Gosh, well, you kind of stole my idea with OnlyFans. So now
you were going to do OnlyFans too? Why are we all doing OnlyFans?
No, I'm going to start stripping. I'm going to do it old.
You're going to strip. See, that's how, that is a real person does it. I was actually watching these TikToks where the girl counts like all of her money from stripping, and this girl's in Las Vegas, and she was like counting her ones. She's like, oh, and this one guy cost me $300 because he didn't go in the room with me, and she had $2,500 from one night in $1 bills. And I was like, you know what, maybe I will start spreading my butthole on stage. But the sad part is I'm ugly. That is one thing. I'm only going to have customers that have a serious fetish and have a serious, mental illness. Those are going to be my customers. But luckily, we have a world that's full of sick people. So I have a large pool of people to pay me money. But with all that being said, right now we still have a show. So things are still good. And so maybe something will change and something will happen and I won't have to join OnlyFans. And I can only hope and pray. And I have been praying and nothing's come up yet. So hopefully, Jimmy, can you guys say a prayer for me at church that I don't have to become naked on the internet?
I pray for you every Sunday, so I will do it.
But pray specifically that I don't have to do OnlyFans because I don't want to do this. I don't want to get into sex work. I'm not a sex worker. I don't even like other sex workers. You know what I mean? I'm just when you're desperate, you're desperate. And so I'm in that stage of the game right now. But I love you guys. And I'm the pimp on a blimp, and I'll be coming to a college near you because guess what? With all that being said, guess where I will be this Thursday? That's right. I'm going to be in Lansing, Michigan at Michigan State University. I can't even speak. Michigan State, Lansing, Michigan, for Turning Point at 7 p.m. So luckily, as long as Turning Point doesn't cancel me, I won't have to do OnlyFans, Jimmy. I just remembered I have Turning Point, so maybe I won't have to do OnlyFans. So I guess that is good. I forget that I have other jobs sometimes. I do forget that I have other opportunities. But I want to go back to do we have the Trump AI video?
Yes,
or
we
I
do.
can pull it up. Is this Harry Sisson reacting to it? Because this is insane. There's this guy named Fro that has worked for my dad for 15 years. He's a black guy, and he's very wise, man. Not the smartest guy, but very wise. And he's not into politics at all. He knows who Donald Trump is, obviously. He knows who Barack Obama is. Probably doesn't know who Kamala Harris is. That's how little he knows. I mean, now he knows her after she ran for president, but he doesn't even know really who J.D. Vance is. And he picks me up at the airport today, and the first thing he says, and he never talks about politics, he's like, Alex, did you see that video of Trump shitting on all them Indian people? I was like, damn, that video is effective because this guy doesn't even really barely know how to read, and that video really affected him. And Yeah, so let's play this video.
Well, so it's actually Harry Sisson's reaction to it because Harry Sisson was the first person who got pooped on in the video.
Okay, well, let's just see his reaction. But does he play it? So we're reacting to him reacting to it. That's fine. It's a meta
I don't think he
reaction.
plays it. He didn't want to give
Okay,
Trump
well, let me find the Trump AI video real quick. But this is ridiculous. This. Oh, can you see my laptop? I didn't even ask you, George. Okay, let me try to see. I got Trump, and what should I put? Poo? Oh my gosh! Don't show my computer now because it's on Twitter. It's probably going to be like. So is it 21 seconds? I'm guessing. Yes. This video is insane. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
So he's just pooping on the No Kings protest. Harry Sisson. Is this safe for YouTube? I mean, can we show fecal matter being thrown?
I think it's just covering news. It's the president's feed.
God, look at Harry Sisson getting that poop bukkake on his face. I mean, this is disgusting, dude. That's pretty. Let's watch it one more time. This is a pretty dark video if you really think about it. I mean, look at his face. Look at Harry Sisson's face. Hold on. Look at that. Oh my God. I mean, that looks real as hell. AI is insane how that really looks like Harry Sisson taking a poop bath. That's gross. Do we like this, guys? What do you guys think? What is the consensus? I mean, I guess I like it, but I mean, he's going full boomer mode. Do you think he actually prompted this video, or did Stephen Miller prompt this, or Usha Vance, and then send it to him to post?
Well, no one's mad at him about ICE raids right now. People are just freaking out about this video. I think he's just playing the media like a fiddle, and it's working because look at us. We're covering it a lot.
I mean, that is bad news right there. Harry. Yo, what up, Harry Sisson? Come on the show. We only have a few episodes left. You're welcome to come on the show. We won't poop on you like Donald Trump did in this video. Yeah, clip this. Show this to Harry Sisson. Tell him. Look at that. Ready? Damn. All right, well, enough of that. That's insane that our president is posting scat porn, or softcore scat porn on Twitter. I like that, I guess I like that. Jimmy, do you like that? Did you guys say if you like that or you don't like it?
I'm torn. It's just so I mean, our president's a fourth grader, but at the same time, like, it's funny how upset the Dems are about this, just like they were with the sombrero AI videos.
Well, what's one of the biggest complaints about me is that I'm too sophomoric and I'm too immature, which I think those are fair assessments. But I guess you're right. Is Donald Trump even less mature than the pimp on a blimp? No, Donald Trump's obviously more mature than me. And I don't even know if I would post a poop AI video. So what does that say, Jimmy? This is like a moral conundrum because obviously Donald Trump is more mature than Alex Stein. But this does seem a little sophomoric or sophomorish, whichever the proper adjective is.
Yeah. I just can't believe we're talking about this. Told me like 5 years ago, our president posted a poop AI video. Yeah, do you want to play Harry's reaction? It's pretty funny.
Yeah, let's play Harry's reaction.
All right.
Folks, in the past week, Donald Trump has attacked me on social media, posting an AI video on Truth Social of him flying a jet, dropping feces on me, specifically, and millions of other Americans protesting. J.D. Vance then got involved and joined with the president to attack me as well on social media. And earlier in the week, MAGA Republicans got Deport Harry Sisson trending on Twitter. It was the #1 thing on the platform with like 30 to 40,000 posts from different accounts.
Not enough.
They are terrified of us. That's the takeaway here. This is not just about me. This is about me, you, and everyone around you who is sticking up for democracy and pushing back on this administration. They're terrified of us. They see the No Kings protests. They see more and more Americans fed up with what Donald Trump is doing, and they simply can't handle it. They can't reverse course or change policy to have their approval ratings go up. They have to go on the offense and attack us instead. And that's a losing strategy. And so I welcome the attacks from Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and MAGA wanting to deport me. It only empowers me, it empowers people at home, and I'm ready to beat them in the elections in 2026 and 2028 and beyond.
Well, I mean, that is just pure projection, because he says that they're not winning. They're literally winning by doing this meme culture and meme war, or whatever you want to call it. So he's lying about that. And I can't believe I'm going to say this. I actually am a little empathetic to you, Harry. I would be scared. You're saying that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are scared. If I were you, I would be very scared if the President of the United States posted a meme of a fighter jet pooping on me. There's no way that that could not be taken as a threat. And then to have his co-host, Vice President J.D. Vance double down on it, yes. If I was Harry Sisson, I would be very worried about getting deported, or maybe actually getting pooped on, or worse. So I wouldn't want to be. Jimmy, how scared would you be if Donald Trump posted an AI video of him putting feces on you? I would be scared to death.
I would, for real, poop my pants.
Yes, I know Harry Sisson saying that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are scared is pure projection, but I'm empathetic to how you're feeling, Harry, because I can tell you that much. I would not want to be in your shoes. Even if Barack Obama, who dropped a drone strike every 30 minutes for 8 years, if he did a meme video dropping poop on me, I would be very scared. So if Donald Trump, who's actually not a homosexual, does it, then yeah, I mean, it's going to be very, that can be a little threatening. I think that could be a little threatening if I'm Harry. But with all that being said, I want to talk about my favorite thing, guys. On this show, I was talking to my spiritual advisor. I actually have two spiritual advisors. One's a Christian one and one's a Jewish one, so don't cancel me. I just do that for safety reasons. You know, we're gonna bet the whole roulette wheel, as they say, you know. And I've learned that through my guidance from these spiritual leaders, that they say that I need to get a little more, maybe spiritual, maybe a little more metaphysical, maybe, you know, get a little more dialed into the spirituality of the world. And I do agree with that. Damn it, Jimmy, find that thing. I thought I bookmarked it. Find the thing of the pastor saying $2,000.
Okay.
I could have sworn I bookmarked it. Well, there's a video right now that's one of the sickest videos I've ever seen in my life. And I'm not even just saying that hyperbolically. I got it pulled up. This video pisses me off. And this is what I say to my spiritual leaders. Yes, I consider myself Christian. I was baptized. I do think it is important to believe in God. I think a godless society makes us less moral and really kind of rudderless. But this video, seeing this video and watching a man manipulate Christians that are asked to tithe by the Creator, by God, something that a Christian takes serious, so in that sense they're vulnerable, and a man that is not a priest but more of a predator, embarrassing a woman in front of his whole congregation over $1,000. And it's a bad video. Let's watch this video.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all.
Okay, let's count that real quick. She gave him a check for $1,000 for whatever, to get into heaven, I guess. Probably that's what he's telling her. Then another $235. So we're at $1,200. The average rent price for a one-bedroom apartment in Dallas, Texas is $1,250, roughly. So a month's rent, that would put a roof over somebody's head for a whole entire month, not just a small amount of money. And let's just watch it from the beginning again. So she gives him $1,200. I just want to, it's not a long video. It's only 30 seconds video. So let's just watch it from the beginning, because I really want you guys to understand the gravity of this moment from this evil person. Like this person, they say that they're a Christian, but they worship Satan. Let's watch this.
I, Roberta McCoy, given faith and stand in unity with the vision of Perfecting Church of sowing this seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
Look at her face real quick. Look how embarrassed she is. I know she smiles, but I feel so bad. Look at this poor woman. She's dressed up there. She's up there with her son. She can't even spend $1,200. She probably wants to buy a brand new weave, no offense, but she doesn't even want to do that. She's dressed all nice up there with $1,200, and this guy has the gall to say, I want 1,000 plus 1,000. What does that mean? That means 2,000. Say 2,000. She gave you $1,250. She's she's less than $800 short. She's $750 short, and you say, nah, it's not enough. I didn't want $1,200. I want $2,000. And what are the implications that she didn't give you the money? So now is she penalized? Is this? I mean, well, I don't understand how other people can manipulate people into tithing and giving a artificial amount and not even giving anything back to her. You know, I mean, that is one thing. Like, it's a transaction in one direction. She gives him her hard-earned money, her savings, her retirement, whatever it is, and he literally gives her nothing back. As a matter of fact, he doesn't help connect her with the Lord. He makes her feel guilty. He makes her feel low vibrational. And when we're low vibrational, we can't feel the spiritual greatness of the world. We can't feel that metaphysical nature, the creator. We can't feel that. That's why they kind of keep us in a low vibrational state. So this person is not trying to bring people closer to God. That man is trying to penalize people and keep them away from God. That man is a gatekeeper to God. And that person is evil and disgusting. And he not only will get his come up when he inevitably meets the Maker, but he should be shamed here on earth before he goes to hell, inevitably, because people like that have ruined organized religion for so many other people. Because I would argue that everybody, even people that consider themselves atheists or agnostic, in their mind, in a foxhole, on a plane, about to crash, I think everybody prays to God. I don't know that, but I know that's maybe oversimplified, but even the biggest atheist, I would think, will always have just a little bit of hope, because in all of us there is a little bit of God, and that's, the Creator. We are part of the creation. So it's a very dark time in the world, and I see manipulative people take advantage of vulnerable people that are lost, looking for guidance. And so I'm starting my own church. It's a Church of Alex Stein, and it costs $2,000 a month. And you'll get into heaven, and we take all colors. I would like big booty Latinas to start out with. You guys are the best Christians. You guys are going to make all the tortillas and all that stuff. But blacks are welcome too. And colors, everybody, Asians, all races. Everybody's welcome. It's a multicultural, multi-ethnicity denominational church. And you give me your money that it says in the Bible to tithe, and I'm going to make sure you're VIP status in the kingdom with the big guy upstairs. So, that's kind of where I'm at financially. I'm going to be starting this church. Jimmy, that's going to save me a lot of my taxes. Did you know that? There's a lot of tax benefits from being a church.
Absolutely.
Who would have known? I didn't know that there was a lot of opportunities. I was a Scientologist for so long. I didn't really know the back end of the whole deal. And believe it or not, there's a lot of benefits from becoming a church. So I'm excited for that.
And Alex, I'm looking, there's a little more to the story. That pastor is named Marvin Winans, and he's literally a Grammy-winning gospel singer. He's won 5 Grammys, so he's probably doing pretty well financially.
You got to be kidding me. Well, obviously he's doing very well financially. He's in that suit. And this is what really makes me mad. And I kind of was on my soapbox, and I get off my soapbox. Jesus was anti-materialism. He was a egalitarian. I mean, he was a modest. He would be the opposite of wearing a 3-piece suit and alligator shoes. That would not be how Jesus would go out and spread the word. Like, that's just not Jesus's vibes. Jesus was about modesty. He was anti-materialism. So all of these pulpit pimps that only go to their congregation if they're there on their private jet, they're all disgusting. You all need to be shut down. Jesus would not be acting like that. Jesus was very modest. And if you're a pastor and you're out there and you're not being a modest leader, and I'm not saying that you're your passion for Christ has to be modest. I'm talking about your Mercedes-Benz. You don't need a Mercedes. No pastor in America should be driving a Mercedes-Benz. You should be driving, yes, shut the hell up. You should be driving a Toyota Lexus at the most. Pre-owned Lexus at the most if you are a priest. And if you're a priest and you're driving a German BMW or a Mercedes or Rolls-Royce, which some of you homosexual, down low, closeted pulpit pimps are driving, I just can't wait. And I'm so happy that heaven and hell is real, because you guys are going to burn like a damn shrimp kebab over those coals when you get to heaven and Jesus says, you're not hanging out up here, buddy. You took all that woman's $1,200 and her kid had to eat ramen noodles for 6 months while you're winning Grammys and selling your soul to the devil. So that guy deserves the worst of the worst. And I'm not saying physically. I'm just talking about spiritually. That guy is spiritually bankrupt, but financially, he's fine. So, okay, well, guys, this has been a great show. Tomorrow night, we got Rex Jones in studio. I don't think we have a Skype guest yet, but we might get one. Maybe in the chat, put some recommendations. I can call in some favors. And next week's our last week of shows, so it is really sad. I can't believe it. And we didn't even get to me confronting Chad West. We didn't even get into all of the No Kings protests. So tomorrow night, we can dive even deeper into that.
And Illinois State.
And we didn't even get into Illinois State. And I went to the ICE protest. Did we even show the ICE protest?
Nope. We got a lot of Rex Jones reaction clips.
Okay, well, I already posted this, so how about this? I don't even know if we can do it, George. Well, I was going to say maybe I can freestyle finale. You could end it with that minute clip, but forget about it. We'll play it tomorrow. Okay, guys, we end the show the same way every time with that freestyle finale. So, DJ, hit that beat. And tomorrow we got more ICE protests to cover. Yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Keys to my car, driving real far. Half messed up on a Xanax bar. How far will I go? You know I slap a hoe if she doesn't got my dough. You know I am a pro. This show has to go. I'm gonna do another one, and I'm gonna buy a bigger gun to shoot my ops. Don't call the cops. Primetime never stops. I love you, all my ops. I love you too. All right, I love you guys. Peace. 3 more episodes. I got my keys. I gotta start stealing stuff from set, Jimmy. I gotta start. It's like I gotta take stuff with me, and I bring a box. All right, guys. I love you. See you tomorrow night. Peace.